All
What's
right,
up?
we're live. That's it. This is
We
going to
are
be an
live.
interesting one, guys. We were just having some interesting convo in the green room. Sorry,
Pre-discussion.
And apparently
yeah,
we have varied opinions here. We're not like on the single front, like all on the same fucking page. So this might get funny.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think I think we're on the same page for a majority, right? I think the difference is almost like with a video I saw earlier today of swapping shoulders CQB, right? The guy said it's very hard to do very well.
Hmm.
So we teach a different thing. you
Right.
know?
I've
So
never practiced it, so you shouldn't do it.
yeah, so I think with that lens, like if we were all, trained up and had millions of options at our fingertips to be able to always pick the right one in the right circumstance is different than the reality in which a lot of government trained individuals probably see themselves.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. But hey, guys, by the way, as we continue and as more of you are piling in here, let us know if audio video is good because we have some new microphones here. Uh, they're not new, they're used, but they're new to us.
Yep.
Uh,
Hmm.
Testing them out.
Testing them out. I think Lewis said that from his end it sounds good. So you guys let us know if audio is, someone says 5 by 5.
Yep.
All right, so
Sweet.
that's good. Okay, well, let me just and we didn't, guys, again, we didn't even discuss in our green room about what this is going to be like. So I'm thinking, this is kind of like a forewarning, that this is not a debate about immigration. This is not some kind of a debate about what we may think, like, dislike ICE as an organization or law
Yeah.
enforcement or law enforcement in general.
Yeah.
Are you bleeding blue or you're not bleeding fucking blue, right? Uh, this is not even about politics on the local level in Minneapolis or Minnesota as a state or federal.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Nothing to do
uh,
with daycares.
yeah, this episode isn't about morality per se. You know what I mean? Because morality is just like beauty; it's in the eye of the beholder. And it's hard to change during some kind of a fucking live stream or whatnot and go like, you are a moral bad person, you don't have any feelings for this poor lady that has died. Or the other side goes like, what about your feelings for this officer who had to kill this crazy lesbian, and how is his life going to be affected? You know what I mean? This is not about that. At least I don't want it to be about that. Not in this one. Tomorrow, though, I'm going to address some of that stuff on my own live stream, but it's not even going to be morality of this. This is going to, what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow is going to be more about us who are sitting in our homes, watching on our phones and our computers what has transpired, and we're expressing our opinions. And sometimes quite strongly, and being cool guys, sharing funny memes. Oh, look, she's leaning right now when she's dead, and she was lefty to begin with. Haha, pretty funny. If that was your cousin, probably wouldn't be so funny, and you would want to find that person and punch him in the fucking face, right?
Right.
Right. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Um, and not even about just like objective, or is the law objective and apply it in equal level, right? Because if we replace that ICE agent with a civilian person standing in front of the vehicle, let's reverse back to the summer of love, 2020. When bunch of Antifa motherfuckers and all that were blocking bunch of people on the highways and all that, and all of us gun people were screaming pretty damn loud, just drive through them.
Yeah. I think that
What if they started shooting? Because reasonably, according to this case study, right, vehicle driving towards you is a deadly threat.
Yeah. So let me hold you there, Sonny, because I think that brings up a good point that I may come back to here in terms of her. Um, So if that's the case, right? Like us saying that, all right, good, Tennessee passed a law where, if they're in the roadway and obstructing your travel, like you can get out of there to go to safety and
Mm-hmm.
it's on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I were in that situation and I had family in the car
Mm-hmm.
and decided I was going to put it in four low and, you know, say take the masks off of some of these Antifa dudes with my bumper, I know what ride I'm buying a ticket for, right? So I can't be surprised at the time when one of them starts to shoot at me, right? The reason why I'm doing it is because I want to be a moving target versus the stationary where I get dragged out of the car and 20 on one stomped into the ground. So I think if we're going to say, you know, you need to know the things you're buying in life, and the fact that you put them on a credit card, you can't after the fact decide you don't want to pay for it, right? Like you when the bills come due, you've got to own the fact that you made that decision to put that on your credit card. So
It does
like,
apply to both sides of the argument, though, correct?
Yeah.
oh yes, yep, 100%. Yep, know what you're doing and understand the implications of it. I think our responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends, right? If we use that saying, like our responsibility to be aware of potential consequences of our potential choices is extremely important. So like her having this training, or her wife having the training on like, this is how you obstruct law enforcement. Well, they probably don't say obstruct, but this is how you interfere with law enforcement. They're doing training, they're sharing information about the whereabouts of this law enforcement, right? Like at some point in that, they had to be aware that like spending a night in jail might happen. They might know that Tim Waltz or Kamala Harris is going to bail them out the next day, and that they're going to get a pat on their back from all of their comrades, you know. But she had to know that the like, hey, you turn around, you're getting these bracelets, you're coming downtown, like, because if she ignored that as a potentiality and potential consequence, I don't understand how you could find yourself parked sideways on a street. And I would love to see like the preceding 5 minutes to everything that we've seen so far.
I've got one of those videos, Lewis, and it's her blocking traffic. She's sitting there sideways for
Right. So like
several minutes.
you have to know, it's one of those things, if a cop tells me, sir, step out of the vehicle, I need to be pretty acutely aware of what happens whether I say yes or no.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of
And I can't
encouragement coming.
start down one road and then complain. you know,
Yeah. Well,
I
Okay,
can't punch the
let,
cop
let,
in the face and then be mad that they slam my head on the ground.
let me
That.
let me play a little devil's advocate here from another side. As a law enforcement officer, if you step in front of the vehicle, shouldn't you be acutely aware of what may happen, especially in the moment where other agents are yelling, "Get the fuck out of the car"?
Yeah, yeah, but
Which of the two
they
people?
have.
Which of the two people has more? How would I say? Immersive training and actually hands-on experience in understanding of the proceedings in situation like that.
Oh well, this
Yeah.
particular officer had very hands-on experience
10
with.
years, from I understand, of special response team of ICE removing dangerous
Yeah,
illegal
and
immigrants.
he got dragged for quite a spell down the road, had some recovery time in the hospital for
Okay.
for being caught by a moving vehicle of someone trying to evade. But they do have a duty to restrain, right? Duty to arrest. And yeah, it definitely could have been done later. We said that in the green room. You know, they had the plate number. So you tack on the extra felony of, uh, evading or whatever the charge is for running away from the police, right? You're not going to get away forever, and they could have locked her up later on, potentially, right? If they think that this is like kind of an organizer in the group that's been making our job very hard here, as soon as she leaves this scene, we have to hand it over to Minneapolis PD, who isn't going to ever get her. So then, but she's going to be back protesting again tomorrow. You put her in handcuffs then.
Then again, I don't think that any of this was really in the moment when it happening was going through the heads of any participant.
No,
I don't
it was
think
just
any of this was happening.
We're stopping her. Is
You know what I
what
mean?
it was.
So
we're going to put her under
because
arrest.
so we'll play the videos here and all that stuff, right? But again, I'm assuming absolute majority of people watching, they've seen every video, pretty much every video available, slow motion, fast motions, 3 times sped up motion, where it looks like he was thrown by a nuclear blast, from this one angle and all that. So here's the question. And I think that's what maybe we should focus on today, is to strip away again the politics, the assumptions of what was going on in one person's head, another person's head, although it's hard, but we can try to some degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the big question that a lot of folks on the internet are discussing, was this self-defense? Right? So before we ask that question, what is self-defense? What is self-defense? And to me, the answer to that definition, active threat, right? It's obviously active threat, because this is not, she's talking about, like, hey, Mr. Agent Man, I'm gonna hit you with the vehicle. She's not threatening. She throws the vehicle in drive, she slams the gas, vehicle starts moving. It's an active threat. So in that sense, that lady is not a peaceful protester. She's not there by accident standing on the fucking sidewalk, as a lot of people on the left going like, oh, she just showed up there to yell against these guys. No, it's a little bit more than that.
Right.
Again, we can look at previous videos. Apparently, information is out there that this is not even the first day. They've been blocking them all day long, and it's been ongoing and harassing and all that stuff. Obviously, up to that point of the day, she has not been a threat to anyone's life, because she wasn't shot or arrested or dragged out of the vehicle. This was a first incident of the day, to where agents decided whether they decided that they had enough. So basically, you can say they got fed up with her antics, with her bullshit.
Right. Or she was getting more progressively.
Or maybe more progressively, maybe she was more blocking the traffic, although you can see in the video that she waves one vehicle through, and she put it in reverse to make the space as the truck with ICE agents pulls up, correct? And then they get, especially one of the agents, when he gets out of the truck after he puts it in drive, he's obviously irritated, because his one and only phrase, "Get the fuck out of the car,"
Right.
as he's walking up.
And
right?
then as he puts hand on the door or on the window, she does in reverse, almost, put the mirror into his shoulder, right? Before she puts it into drive, and then the big thing happens. So like, she could have ran over his, you break a knee, or get your shin caught the wrong way in a wheel well, something like that. It's slippery. So there's potential damage on that first officer, right? So yeah, we spoke in the Antifa riots. Would you turn your car into a weapon? Like, sure, because I could probably handle more. If there's 100 people surrounding my car, I can probably handle more of that with my vehicle as a weapon than I could skinning out the biscuit, you know?
Okay.
So she
So
has weaponized the vehicle. Um, I think I think he is the fact that it
now,
goes
Louis,
into
let me interrupt you
reverse.
here for a second. When you
Yeah.
say she has weaponized the vehicle,
Hmm.
in the court of law, as a lawyer, I would go objection, Your Honor, because
Okay.
it's a
On
guess.
what grounds?
It's a guess. You guessing about intention of the person who's no longer here to say what she wanted to do. That's an
Okay.
interpretation.
Yeah. So that's the
Right.
thing. Is the vehicle always a weapon or is it always not? It's just not being used as one. Like, if she was just driving along, not paying attention to hit somebody, was that used as a weapon? Yes or no? Somebody's still dead, but like that's the same as like if you're in the kitchen cutting something with a knife and someone like, oh no, he's got a knife. Like, oh,
See,
what's
and this is what my problem is, because no matter how hard we try to be objective, it's gonna be interpretive.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If you support one side, you're gonna go like, well, coulda, woulda, shoulda. This could have happened. This could have got caught. It could have hit him in such a way that he went under the wheel, and that would have crushed his legs, and that would have severed his blood vessels, and he would have bled out to death
Hmm.
because you know what I mean? As much as
Right.
possible, and as hard as it is, I would want to remove all that.
And
You know what I
if
mean?
she was like an awesome driver, right? Or like maybe, hindsight and being 2020 and putting ourselves in the position, like if I've got cops on both sides of my car and in the front, like maybe I back out into that dude's front lawn and then pull out that way. Like get out of that U-shaped ambush first, right? And then if my objective is to simply get out of there, so then maybe I read into that it's weaponized, that she goes back into the horseshoe of the ICE agents.
Okay, so if we go back to the question, what is self-defense?
Protection of self.
Okay, I actually did notes, so I actually prepared for today for about 20
All right.
minutes. See, I'm dedicated to this shit, man. You're welcome. Uh, Here's what I said. In general terms, self-defense is action taken in an attempt to avoid, prevent bodily harm and or death to self and or others. Would you agree?
yeah,
So you take action to prevent serious bodily harm and or death to yourself or others. That would fit self-defense pretty well. I'm sure the law describes it in much more lawyer-like terms, but I'm not a lawyer and didn't stay at Holiday Inn Express, and I don't play one on TV. And plus, being a Christian and being a lawyer is counter to each other. I don't think you can be Christian and lawyer at the same time. It's kind of like a used car salesman. You can't, you know. I know this is kind of like a hard thing because a couple lawyers watching probably going, well, fuck this guy. I'm sorry, man. But you lie to win cases. It's as simple as that. So, uh, I have a second question. If we agree on self-defense, is the definition of self-defense transcending between citizen, civilian, and or an agent of state law enforcement?
I don't think so. I think we have to have a line, and maybe this comment from Adam kind of points a little bit to it, right? Um, in terms of what their duty is versus what our duty would be. I mean, it gets into the what's more important, not be shot or not shoot the bad guy. Um,
No, at this point, we're getting into tactical considerations. This is not any kind of, you know, debate about was this a self-defense, because now we're getting into the area of duties
okay, but
that neglects the simple question that pushes aside the simple question, was this a self-defense?
so if we were in Walmart and someone's shooting, would it be self defense for me to take that shot down the aisle to stop him?
Yes,
Like, did
because
Eli?
because other people, you and or other people are in immediate danger of great bodily harm and or death.
Right. And so to determine if this is self defense, I think we have to put ourselves in the mind of that officer, just like we would have to put our mind in her mind to see if the car was a weapon. And
Equally important.
right. So what did he believe he was doing? Did he think that that other agent on the other side of the car was going to be hit? Did he think that she was going to throw it in reverse once she got squared up and take them both out with the bumper,
We
and then
will
they would have to shoot through multiple layers of glass and headrests? Like,
we will never know.
we
Because
don't
for
we
one,
don't. Right.
he's the only witness who directly participated in that, and whatever he says will go. You know, so again, this is a legal discussion on, what evidence do we have? We only have one side of the evidence because the other side of the evidence has died, right? We cannot ask her, were you trying to hit an officer or were you simply trying to escape?
Right.
Ideologically, both sides will have absolutely contradictory statement what she was trying to do based on whom they want to be the righteous in this situation.
Right.
Right.
Okay, this is just, you know what I mean, it's unavoidable, but at the same time we do have to make an attempt to purify this debate into what the fuck was this, not because it's about seeking justice is as simple as this officer will not go to jail, he will not lose the job for many reasons. For one, Vice President J.D. Vance already said that he has absolute immunity, which is, in my opinion, absolute bullshit statement from the person who's not in a judiciary system. He's an executive branch. That is bullshit and it should not be happening. Hey,
Right.
if you dislike what I say, unfriend me. I don't give a fuck.
But if
Second,
Fauci
the
if
way the
Fauci
law
can
is
get a
written,
pardon,
the way the law is written and the way the SOPs of the departments and agencies are, he did not break it. Because as soon as he says on the stand that I believed that my life was in danger, he walks.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Well, even I think Tim Walz signed a thing that
Yep.
said, "Hey, if you're trying to run somebody down with a car, it's deadly force. You can shoot them."
Again, he signed it into law, but is that law equally applicable to you and to the law enforcement officer?
Well, no, the intent was to protect cops. Like
Mhm.
if you're trying to run down a
So
cop.
let me ask you another big question then, because we're talking about here, was this a self-defense? So would you say that when law enforcement is involved, the cost of a human life, let's say in this case of this liberal woman, and I use that term loosely, in the car, the cost of her life has been reduced by a simple virtue that in front of her is police officer, not a civilian?
Well, and that's if I like,
Does the human life has the same value whether Josh is standing in front of the vehicle or
oh
Mr.
yeah,
Officer?
well,
right.
yeah. The and I don't think if it were just if it were three people with blue hair that were in front of her car there, I don't think she hits the gas to get away from the cop. But that's me
That's
totally
again, that's a
making it up.
guesswork because three
Yep.
people with blue hair, they obviously not federal agents, and they obviously have no right or power or tools to
No,
arrest or detain her.
I'm saying if the ICE agents were still at her side doors, but there were three blue haired people there, she would not have willy nillied the will I hit them, will I not on and put their life at risk to any level. I that again,
It's
personal
it's it's
opinion.
it's it's absolutely a guesswork, and that statement has as much weight as a statement from the opposite side, and the opposite said something very simple, which is just as reasonable if we remove all ideological allegiances. She was trying to get away from being arrested.
But what's the cost? What's the cost? Our side, their side, any side. So like if we take her out of it, if that's homeboy, that's like me and dude are bros, and he maybe forgot to pay $200, and
Mhm.
forgot to go to the post office for the right stamp or something like that. Like, does he not know the cost of trying to evade this arrest? Did he not buy the
Do you
ticket
think
to
that in
drive?
her mind she had a cause that the cost of doing so will be being shot in the face?
Right. Well, that's the thing is like in your own
What's
mind.
what's the cost of? I mean, I bet she was at the George Floyd riots, so like she
Maybe.
knows what happens when you argue with police. Try not to get arrested. The best thing you can do, like anytime I've been ever circled up by police, like I'm on Bourbon Street and I got a taser in the back of my neck, like I'm not resisting. Like I know where this story goes if we go past this at all,
Well,
and
another
I
another
don't
thing
win,
is if
regardless
the
if
low.
that cost is my teeth getting broken on the sidewalk, a
Mhm.
bloody nose, whatever it is. If I don't want to pay that cost, then there's one way to avoid that, and that's to put the bracelets on and deal with it in the judicial system, which you
I'm
pretty much
not, I'm
know
not, I'm
is
not disagreeing whatsoever. Now, I'm going to be a devil's advocate because I read comments, and this is from the left side. From the left side. Remember the case in Arizona, hotel hallway?
Mhm.
Shaver.
Yep, that one. He followed commands as contradicting as they were. How did that ended up?
He did.
He got smoked, right? And for us, right, we going like, okay, I'm pretty sure that all three of us, as far as that shooting goes, we will call it a bad shoot, the one that happened in Arizona.
I
That
believe
was
so.
fucked
Yeah,
up.
it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I
That
forget
was
what verbals he was giving while trying to do
keep your
follow.
hands up, crawl towards me. With what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Like
yeah, yeah.
completely
But what was he
contradicting. Keep
saying back
moving,
to
but
them?
don't
Like, I
use
didn't do
anything that
shit.
helps you to move.
Like, was he, kind of confused in the verbals, but also saying like, "Fuck you guys, I didn't do shit," or was he
He
saying
was
like,
on his
"Sir,
knees with his hands up.
He was basically like shitting his
okay,
pants.
Yep.
Like there's a hallway full of cops with guns. So like this wasn't like some hardcore criminal that's like fuck you
yeah, yeah,"
guys, I ain't
and I,
trying to
I
go back to
believe
jail.
that officer did get in trouble, right?
Nope.
He was the
No.
one with
Nope.
the flash, the dust cover or something that
Fuck
said like "you're
around.
fucked."
Something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Oh, he said you're fucked.
You fucked. Right. No. His daddy was a chief of police, and he got let go by the police department, but retained full pension.
Right.
Right. So again, this is outside of the scope, and I'm not going to go into this because this is for tomorrow thing, right? But you kind of go like, all right, so we know that this lesbian woman, I'm using that term again fairly loosely, uh, is a lefty, right? No question about it, right? We know what she's indoctrinated in.
Yeah.
Would you question where does her what is her opinion of law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and so on and so on?
it's probably pretty close to some of our viewers' thoughts.
Right. Well, that's the thing too. So on one hand, you've got the hey, you bought the ticket, you know what the ride is. But if she's used to dealing with, the neutered cops there, she probably thought, hey, I can just get away. Nobody gives a shit. They're not going to do anything. Emboldened by that, decides to act and then.
I don't know if she's been dealing with neutered cops or is this the first again, because she apparently during this episode, by few previous day or that day, she was not arrested. There was no attempt to arrest her or
Right.
whatnot. So to her, Again, this is all guesswork assumption that really is meaningless. For her, this is like a baby, right? I'm going to push a little bit further and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden she's sitting there and this scary dude is walking up. Mind you, this is a woman, although she's a lesbian, and it's the other woman who's her wife, so she's acting more like a boy, right? That would be my assumption how in lesbian things work. I don't know.
I don't know.
Scissoring, I don't know how it all works. None of my business, right? But all of a sudden, this dude is walking up, get the fuck out of the car. Oh shit.
It got real.
My baby ass has pushed a little bit too far. It got real, right? I see this guy coming here. I go like, fuck it, I'm getting out of here. I turn my head. Yeah, there is an officer there. Do you think I'm looking if he's holding the gun, if he's moving, if he's in the middle of the car? No, it's a blur. How it's a blur? Anyone come up against me and I'll start swinging a live blade at you. Let me know what you see around you. What is your orientation? What is your recognition of constant things or
Right.
things that are changing? So for people to say that
But Sonny,
this car was being used as a weapon, it's an assumption. Could it possibly be? Yes. But that's the question to the officer. That's not a question
right.
to her.
And
We cannot ask her anymore.
the blur goes both ways as well, though.
Yeah.
Because when he hears the engine roaring and the tires starting to spin on ice, like I'm guessing he's not processing exactly. Is she smiling? Is she scared? Is she looking
Nope.
to the open road, or is she looking at me? She can't see where her pupils are either. So, I mean,
But Louis, if you are in the court because you got into a parking lot fight against the chicken Walmart, she starts swinging at you, all right? And you think that what she has in her hand looks like a knife. You
yep,
skin the thing and you smoke the bitch,
yep,
right? Now you go in front of a judge and judge pulls out the things and he goes like, yeah, she was a lefty, she was a lesbian, she was this and that. Here's Lewis. He's been training for violence for the past 7 years. Do you think the court and the law will apply as far as your judgment versus her judgment, different standard?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. There's going to be expert witnesses. There's going to be other people and go like, you should have known better. Would that be the case?
Yeah.
yeah. But I have no,
I know you haven't
no.
been in the Walmart parking lot fight against a chick. Stay
Well,
away from that. It's not good.
but yeah, especially in some of the WalMarts where I've lived. But yeah, I think it does get like it's hard to not bring that duty in. His training is all on how to stop things. So at that point, then his training is put on trial, but he is not, because his expert witnesses are going to come in and talk about, you know what I mean? How, well, she did have, just because the knife was plastic doesn't mean he knew that. And he doesn't need to wait to feel the knife before he shoots her. Right. Like, so all those witnesses I could call in, all the dudes who have taught this dude, like, are going to be able to testify to the fact that he was indoctrinated to the vehicle being a deadly weapon in those circumstances.
Yeah, but
All
me,
things were
But
met.
me as your instructor would go like, Lewis, why didn't you fucking chest kick that bitch where she flew back 8 feet away and then you made an assessment? Why did you skin your gun? I teach you
Yeah.
more than that. I teach you to move, to buy time, to make right decisions.
Right. But let's say I had never trained with you and I just took a bench of like Matt Blanca
Ha!
classes.
Aha, that's good. I was leading. I was doing social experiment. I was leading. So when a lot of people say, because you see that a lot, this is what these officers are trained to do.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be used and that's going to get him off the hook. Although he said fucking bitch after shooting her and all that stuff, none of that will come into play. He's walking free.
Yeah. He
He's
did what he
walking
was
free.
taught to do.
he did what he was taught to do, right? Now, let's come back to what officers are being taught to do. And no, this case will not change that. But if we don't start talking about it, nothing will ever change. And I think it should. So earlier you mentioned when we in the ballistic exchange, what's more important, to shoot them or not be shot?
Oh, I believe it's to not be shot.
So when you're in front of the vehicle, what's more important, to shoot the vehicle or don't get hit by the vehicle?
Yep. Well, me personally, or what does law enforcement need to do?
No, what's
It'd be
for
the
one,
same.
for one, you personally. Two, and I'm going to lead to that here too, because I'm being an asshole today. I'm being a contrarian on purpose,
Mhm.
because I want us to get away from ideologically possessed fucking discussions. Because if we are planning at some point in time to put together back something that is called United States of America, one side at least has to be grown up and start heading in that direction. Because otherwise, we are fucked. And I'm talking like Roman Empire fucked.
Did you say be heading in that direction or be heading in that direction?
You are funny. I don't have headphones because I would hit the laughing sound effect, but that was good, Louis. That was nice, man. That was very New York like, quick wits. That was cool. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. Again, we talked about it before. You shoot the vehicle. Does the vehicle change its behavior?
No.
Unless you shoot from relatively long distance with a couple of rounds of 50 BMG, it does not change shit. Whether you shoot the wheel, the engine block, the radiator, the
Yeah.
timing belt, anything else, vehicle does not change its behavior in the time frame that would make a difference.
Okay.
Correct? Cool.
Yep.
So if I'm
Uh,
standing, then separate question, why am I in front of the vehicle? Because some people will say, well, he was moving around, and then he even sped up to help his fellow officer who was trying to remove her from the car, right? uh, do you mind, Louis, to play the video from the perspective, not the officer's cell phone, but
yep.
perspective, the other perspective?
All right. Let's see here. Let me get it up. And I've got the sound off on
Yes,
it.
that angle right there.
Yep. And let's see. We'll put this. Why did my list of scenes get? Here we go. Boom.
Yep, that perspective.
Okay. So here we go. And this is the one at point 0.3 speed that I thought Tim Pool did a good job explaining. And again, in case the YouTube people are watching, we are using video from Tim Pool's channel because he did do a good job of breaking this
Okay,
down in
so
terms of
before
the
you play
speed.
the video, right, if we look at this still shot of before the video starts, you see the reverse lights on, correct?
Yep, she
And
was
her
moving back.
wheels and her front wheels, the steering wheel turned in the way as if she was going that way to create what?
To,
It's all guesswork, but that's, to me,
Yeah.
if I were to look at it as what is she
It,
doing?
it
To
was the
create an angle
so that
to go
I
that way.
think
so that's a go ahead, Lewis.
I think she was just pulling in the middle of the street, and that's how she got there. Like that's how that car got parked in the middle of the street. She hugged the right side and then turned the car perpendicular to the traffic.
Okay, so
But
play the video.
so it's Tim Pool's doing a little bit of talking about it. He's telling people to key in and
Oh,
watch the tires
while he's doing
and
his thing,
and the speed
Uh,
with which it goes from the car going in reverse, where that officer in the front would have then been pursuing a vehicle, not necessarily standing to block one
Okay,
in.
goes reverse, reverse, reverse. Here's the person in
Tire
front.
spin, and boom.
Okay, can you go a little bit back, Lewis? Can you scroll a little bit back as you start seeing the officer moving, the one in the front, the agent who fired the shots? A little bit more back, a little bit forward. There you go. He's coming out. Okay, right there. Cool. So he's right behind the officer who's by the driver's door, correct?
yeah.
Yep, we
Right.
got his
If
head.
from our angle, from our perspective. So he's somewhere, I would say, at this point between the left front headlight and the center of the vehicle, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And he was moving, right? Now play very, very little bit of it and then stop again. Now she switched because you saw the front wheel skip,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Wheel now is turned directly forward, right?
Yep. Little
Not yet
Hondo
away
roll.
from him, but directly forward. Watch the officer what he's doing. Instead of
Now,
continuing moving, he stops and starts drawing the weapon.
now, in fairness, he could not see her tires from there,
Absolutely.
right? So the last place that he knew the tires were based on her direction of travel in reverse was pointed to the left, which is the side of the car he's on.
Yep.
So if he were to roll or move laterally, further here to the left, he's basically in potentially in his mind putting himself more in the crosshairs of the middle of the front bumper, right?
Okay.
Like he may have a gamble now where I can try and move 3/4 of a car in this direction if the wheels stayed straight to get out of the way or stayed where they were versus move uh you know who knows how far this way because that's the way those wheels were. I think from the body cam he can see that she's correcting the wheel back to straight.
Again, but that's a guesswork on our point, right? To
Mm-hmm.
what degree he was stressed to see that she was turning the wheel away from him. Maybe he didn't have time to react to make that assessment. I will give that officer absolutely benefit of a doubt that under duress, under stress, you have the whistles going, you have car horns going off, you have all this shit going, you on slippery surface, you in Minnesota, you had a long day doing this shit. These women were harassing them all day long. I'm not here to be a judge on this officer. I'm here strictly on the technical terms, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or trying to be. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, vehicle starts moving towards me. I don't have to have much of understanding or 50 years of very in-depth training on vehicle ballistics and all that to go like, me shooting her now does not stop the movement of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's what happens when your gun is your safety blanket instead of your movement.
Aha. Aha. Now we're getting somewhere, right? Because he stopped moving and he started accessing the gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we can go back to the training, and this is not moral character of the officer. I cannot be judge of that because by all accounts, he's a family man, he's a devout Christian. All the other, again, some people on the left will say you cannot be any kind of Christian and ICE agent at the same time. Everybody has opinions, lefties. I'll leave it up to you because I'm sure you're not ideologically possessed at all,
and
right?
and just for the record, those watching who are kind of championing it as a good shoot because again I'm kind of arguing on down that line, but I think I'm going to agree with what Sonny's got coming up here. But I would just like to point out that so we have a shooter
Mhm.
and a friendly,
Hmm.
who happens to be breaking the 180 rule. Just saying. Maybe in the heat of the moment,
Right.
Well,
practicing
also,
something
if you
like
look
that.
at the woman with the camera, she's definitely breaking that 180 rule too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's a whole lot of it going on, but I digress on that point.
Well, that's where your intimidation is done. It's not stop the
Okay,
car. It's up.
so
Okay, up range.
take like one step forward. There you go. Uh, Again, can the officer see which way the tires are turned? Absolutely not. Not
Yeah,
even visually, but even if he did have visual contact, I don't think he has time to process as to what's going on. I don't
yeah,
think he does. Now, another question. Have you guys done any training in front of the vehicle from a standstill, starting to accelerate, not on the slippery surface, to see what kind of kinetic energy it generates in the first, let's say, 4 feet of its movement?
Right. That's the
It's
the
an interesting study
yeah. That's the question that you
because
got
it
to
will
ask.
not throw you under the vehicle. It will push you.
Yeah. Well,
well,
that's what
yeah. If
that's
if
what
you
did
can
happen.
sprawl, right? Like if it's like someone going for a takedown. If you know how to sprawl and you put your weight up there on the hood or whatever, push
Mhm.
yourself off of that, take the weight off of your legs. Yes, it's not much force at all. But if you tried to take one step backwards and you have your weight sinking this way, under the car is where you're going to be.
Yes, and needless to say, that officer did not take a backward step,
Right.
which is good on him, because otherwise, yeah, there was a small slight chance because of the angle where he's standing right now that he could have, his feet at least could have ended up under that left,
Yeah.
driver's
I
side front
think
wheel.
I think right in like the next frame or two, we'll see he kind of shifted weight forward. And so
Mhm.
one foot is in the air and the other foot you see get slid and
Okay,
pushed.
take that one frame forward. One more. There you go.
Yep. Right there.
And
That like
that's the
air
moment of
step.
the shot too, right?
That air step. Yep.
And that's the moment of the shot.
You
Needless
can
to
see
say, and it
basically the impact of the car. Poof. Right
boom,
there.
right? So that's literally, and this is point 0.3 speed, right?
Hmm.
So the contact with the vehicle and the shot, you can say, happened within probably zero point 0.1 seconds from each other,
Yeah. On the
right?
video, you can't hear the first gunshot. You hear his gear hitting the.
Yep. Can you take one step back, Lewis, where you see the smoke puff? A little bit forward, right there. Okay. And one more, there, right there. Okay. So this is the moment the shot's been fired. Again, could have he seen the tires of the vehicle, which way they're turning? No. Did he had time to determine that vehicle is turning away from him? That's the question of training, conditioning, what kind of mental state, what kind of
Right.
emotional state, how agitated you are, how tired you are towards the end of the day or midday or whatever.
Yeah. He
Those
still
questions
hasn't
will never
gotten
be
both feet
answered.
on the ground.
Yeah, those questions will never be
From.
answered. And what the officer will answer will fly. It will go.
Mhm.
All he has to say, I was in fear of my life. But as a technicians here, as we're looking at it, that shot being fired, about 20% of his body, which is his foot, was in the way of the vehicle. The rest of it was out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The decision was made,
Prior, I agree.
and
He could
and
have not turned it off, but you can say also he also made a decision to draw the gun instead of continuing moving.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So he's already been primed to do something that he shouldn't. And then the next step after that is, hey, I've drawn my gun. Now I'm going to shoot. Now I'm going to keep shooting. Was
and
like,
now like shots 2 and 3, like who knows with his training and whatnot. Like let's say that shot one was a complete miss, and just hypothetically, right? If this lady on that shot, then throws it back in reverse, wheels to the left. Can she knock both of those officers down right now with the vehicle in under a second? Right? Like if she were weaponizing the car, or if that were you driving, Sonny, from the position where they're standing right now, could
Yeah.
you put both of those officers on the ground using that vehicle in the next second here? Right? Like
That v that
if we
that
were
vehicle
uninjured.
on that vehicle on that road in those conditions, no. No.
Okay.
That being a front wheel drive vehicle, which by the way, it's not hard to determine
Yeah.
uh, whether
But
those
front
officers
wheel
were
drive
aware
in
of that or not.
reverse.
It's a separate issue. They already saw the wheels spinning on the slippery road.
Yeah.
So now with her driving forward already, for her to switch it in reverse and start spinning it back, she had no chance of knocking them down. Whether they
Right.
were aware of that or not, it's a separate issue. It's a separate issue. Could have been, could have they had fear of that? In the court of law, they can say that. At that moment, I can pretty much put my dick on the table and say they did not think about it.
Okay. Fair.
Would you?
I mean, I think cars are dangerous as fuck, to be honest with you. Yeah, like somebody that's already done some herky jerky shit in the vehicle, like I don't feel good being where either of those two guys are right now with someone I think is trying to hurt me with a vehicle.
Okay, so is it more important to shoot them or not be shot? Like to me,
Well,
again, it's very subjective and all that shit. I fired that first shot. Maybe I didn't have a time to assess if it hit or not, although face shot from that distance and how well you can see her face, I submit to you, I saw the pink puff. But
mhm.
let's assume he didn't. Okay. To me, my action with my hand already on the vehicle, on the hood, I'm pushing myself the fuck back to create more distance because now, because vehicle is not facing me, neither back nor front, now the
Mhm.
distance is my friend.
Yeah. No, I think we could like full agreement, like movement could have gotten him into position where it would have been a no factor on whether the deadly force was needed, right?
Okay. And I don't know about you guys, but second, third shot,
Yeah, that well
See,
that's
it's
that's where I
past the
was
point
going
being
with
shot.
this. Like I still don't love being right there. And if that first one wasn't the one that Pink misted, like this one, number two, might be the one that did that, you know.
Right, and that's the thing. Like I haven't paid attention enough to know, was she shot 3 times or was she shot once and shot at twice? You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
initial information that came out, it was the first shot that was lethal shot.
Okay.
And looking at
Yeah.
the angle where he fired the shot and where on the windshield the hole was, as far as the height of his pistol, I would say that was a headshot, the first one.
You think? It
I think
looked
so.
very close to the steering wheel to me when
Yeah,
I
but
look
then
at.
again, Louis, look at the angle, and then if you look at the length of the hood of the car and the distance from where he fired, and then where the headrest is,
Right.
I submit to you that first shot was a
Eh,
headshot.
eh, that's low down there, and that's going to go lower as it enters the cab.
Because if it wasn't a headshot, where is the exit of that bullet?
It
There
could
are
be
there, there are no holes in the rear windshield.
what about in the seat, in the back seat, or in the console, in the shoulder rest?
I guess we
Did
don't have that information yet. We'll
did
see if it
she
comes
have
out.
another hole right here?
We don't have
Like,
that information yet.
yeah, that just looks very low, especially at that upward. He's up on the hood for it to be down into
Can you
there,
show
and
the video? Can you show the video from officer's perspective now? The one from
I
his cell
think
phone?
I have that. Let's see if this just continues into that. Uh, no, that's from there. All right, different one.
Nice commercial.
I think this one might have it.
That's number one. You see the agent who was in front of that vehicle. Here's number two. Let's watch this. There's no audio on this, so just watch quiet as.
No, this is another angle that I haven't seen a lot of.
Yeah, this angle doesn't show anything useful.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Street.
Other than brake lights and reverse lights, it doesn't show anything.
And then
useful.
this is the one from way up above.
Yeah.
From higher angle.
That one, when they zoom in, does show, you know, he is moved about.
He is moved, but he was not moved per se center mass.
Right.
And, you know, I want to see if you have a video of from the agent's cell phone.
We might have to do it live here.
There you go. That's
all right. Let's
and then
see
mine,
here.
I know you've been working.
I'm just going to mute all this out.
Yeah, because this is all political commentary.
Yeah, they're going to talk
protests.
more about the protests and the
which
actual.
we don't care about. Whatever, doesn't matter. There you go.
Yep.
That's the video I'm looking for.
Said, "Hey, dude, get away from me."
All right, let's go here forward. Bring it on, big boy, she says. Very smart. There you go. Okay, this is for some reason, because I've seen the video that has a wide frame and this one shows narrow frame with things blocked out.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange.
Well, I think one was the body cam and one was his cell phone.
Okay. But anyway, if you see, because I went 50 times back and forth on the one from his cell phone, and the angle from which he shot, his pistol was not completely raised for the first shot. So it was kind of at the moment as he was being pushed out of the way. And to me, it looked, again, I'm not a freaking, you know, a specialist as far as forensics and all that stuff, but it's reasonable to assume that that could have been the one that did her in.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if we put the shot timer on, what the splits were, where they. Well, you know what I mean? Because if they're faster than a quarter second, then that would explain why multiple got out before.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like all of those are the tight vertical.
Yeah, I should have sent you one because I have one, but that's okay. I mean, people can look at it themselves, and there's so many of them out there available or whatnot, right? But I don't know, man. You know, if you look at, click on a couple of those pictures where shot one was fired, and that was back, actually, right? So first shot, second shot.
See, that's the one I think might have done it. That's pretty muzzle to ear. Josh, who is it that says I don't have to be a sniper if my muzzle's touching what I'm trying to hit?
Right. Well, that's what I don't know. Like, was she hit 3 times or was she hit once?
I don't know if and when the forensics comes out. I guess we'll find out.
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
and I mean,
I'm pretty sure forensics will be done.
Yeah,
I'm sure
in that shot.
Convenient to say that the one that came in through the windshield was the one that did it. Just throwing that out there. If anyone, you know, wants to accuse me of trusting the government, like, it would be convenient to say that the first one did it.
Okay. Now, can you click on the little graphics that show from above?
The little AI thing.
Yeah.
So they took these, I guess.
Yes.
Body imaged everything.
Yep. And then they use this. So this is the first shot. And again, I looked at the videos repeatedly from every angle possible, going frame by frame. And to me, this seems to be fairly accurate.
Right.
As far as positioning and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Again, you see tires already turned. Could have officer possibly seen it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Could have he made a decision that, okay, this vehicle is no longer a threat to me? Probably not. Again, I will still come back to the question, shooting the driver from here, does it affect vehicle moving?
No.
Actually, the video shows you that as she slammed on the gas, vehicle kept accelerating after second and third shot until it hit the neighbor's vehicle. I'm wondering if federal government will reimburse those people for that car.
Nope.
Probably not. We should start a fundraiser because those people
Insurance.
lost the car for fucking nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These shots,
So like to me, even in this AI one, that seems really low. That seems like something that would have hit her somewhere if she was driving. Maybe.
Well, it's also the first shot's deflecting off the glass. So that's going to change.
Well, that's
like,
what I mean. And windshield angled this way sends rounds downward into the cab generally.
well, I guess this is at this point, then it's a guesswork as far as second,
That
third
looks
shot.
like it's pointed right at her melon.
Yeah. But is he in danger now?
That's again, you and I had differing opinions on how quickly that car could be maneuvered, and to put both of them at risk, because like those tires are still this way. She's no longer trying to accelerate uphill like she was with the tire spinning that way, so that she may have some more traction now that she's middle of the road. Like it doesn't, I would not feel safe in either of those positions. Now, whether we should be in those positions, I'm in agreement with you. These are
Okay.
not positions.
Again,
we
a
should
question. Does shooting the person change the vehicle's ability to move?
Well, it changes her ability to use it, right? Like
Okay, so
does
what you're
shooting
saying
a
is,
dude stop his AK from being able to shoot people? Like Eli Dickens, right? Like did
well,
could
in
he
this
have
case,
not been shot and just went out the back door of the mall? Like
right.
yes.
But in this case, that'd be like, hey, like, I don't like this cannon pointed at me. Let's just cut the rope and have it loose about the ship. Because if you shoot somebody with the AK, yeah, they're
Mhm.
using the tool and that's off. But this
If
now
it's
just barrels her car into traffic.
right, but the cannon being loose about the ship is going to be harder for someone to light. You know what I mean? So I get it. It's going to come to a stop at some point. It's going to act in a more predictable manner without somebody behind the wheel.
Right.
I don't know.
wait a
I
second.
understand.
Are you saying that that person behind accelerating vehicle's wheel is more predictable than a live person? Is that what
Yeah,
you're trying to say?
potentially. Yeah, yeah. If yes, yeah.
I would
If
say
I
no.
were
I would
if
say
I
absolutely not. I would say that you're wrong, Louis.
it's going to make an like a move, right? Like here it accelerated down the block. The wheel didn't really change much. The gas did pick up. She hammered down on the gas, or maybe it just stayed right where it was, and just picked up speed, right? But it's going to coast with less intent, I guess is what
So
I'm saying.
wait a second. Hold on a second. I have a problem with that statement. So are we saying now that we have determined right there that her intent is to keep driving, keep hitting the people?
I'm not saying I've determined that as her intent. I'm saying I could understand if that was his interpretation of the intent.
I don't know.
I disagree.
I think it'd be way more predictable that the person's alive and driving away rather than a dead person being at the wheel and the car just flying down the road.
Right. I agree. If the assumed intent was simply to drive away.
Right. Oh, okay.
I,
Well, or
I'm
if it was
doing
a
I'm
living
doing the
person
best
and
I
she put it in
can.
reverse, that's more predictable also.
Say again.
Like if she's like whichever way she's going, escape or inflicting more damage, it's going to be more predictable. If the car's going forward down the road, like she's not whipping a U-turn, so she's going to go down the road. And if she whips it in reverse, then she's going to come back at us. That's a lot more predictable than a dead body doing it. Because it'd be the same if she whipped it in reverse and they
Yeah,
shot her
but
at
a
the
dead
5
body
o'clock.
isn't going to whip it in reverse. Like right there, if
Right, it's
she
just
puts
going to
that
go
car in
wherever the car
reverse,
goes.
if she
Yeah, the
puts
car
that
hits
car
the
in
curb and
reverse,
turns the tires and stuff. Like, if there could be a kid down there, like a person who is alive would be able to steer out of the way.
uh, yeah, yeah. But again, we're assuming like what her dead body would do to the wheel versus what our assumed intent of her was.
Right. Her intent, I would assume, is not to run down the neighborhood kid.
Right.
So, like, if
And
she was going to escape, her intent would be to escape. That's predictable. And if her
so,
intent was to throw it in reverse and do damage, that's also predictable. But
but
shooting
it's
her,
but right there, they're at risk. So like here's the hypothetical I'm trying to show that potentially he was protecting from, right? Right there in where this shot is showing, right?
Okay.
And probably a little bit better illustrated, in the live uh, screw it. In the live one where this dude is still getting his foot back on the ground from being hit by the vehicle. The wheels are cut hard to this way,
Yeah.
right? She is one tap of the brake set into reverse. I think from the angles I saw, from being able to then backslide the side of this vehicle, the engine block, the tire over his knee, right? Like he still doesn't have full balance, knowing
right?
if
He
he's
could
going to
see
stay on
that
his
though.
feet
I
or
would
not.
assume he could
Lewis,
see her
when
put
you
it in
say
reverse.
when you say he has no balance, can you forward to the third shot? There you go.
Yeah, he got it
What was
under him.
what was the time frame between second and third shot in the real time? Point
That
0.5?
foot hitting the ground.
It was a quick split. Not competition quick, but it was pretty quick split, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh
Point two.
yeah, pretty good. Competition dudes would probably like it, right?
Yeah.
I will strongly disagree that any frame after the first shot, that second, third shot, that these two gentlemen on the driver's side of the vehicle are in any immediate risk, because for her to slam on the brakes and stop acceleration, put it in reverse, and then slam it on the gas to go in order to whip the engine block towards them would have taken probably more times that he needed if he decided to empty the whole magazine.
Potentially. Yeah.
I think if
It's a guesswork, I
if the
know,
argument's
Yeah.
going to be
but the
that
guesswork is going to be determined by what we want to believe.
yeah, I think
Mhm.
if the intent is to make the argument that the vehicle is mechanized death and anything it touches is totally fucked, like in that first shot, he's not very far from the car. So how fast is that really going? You know,
We can try it in the range. I'm going to put my Tundra there.
It'd be
You
down.
stand
I'd be
about
down.
3 feet from the front
But then
and see how much damage it does.
not only that, so like
I'll guarantee you no one's going to the hospital.
if you
Yeah.
said like, we're like if you hadn't shot this person, what we're like, did you absolutely have to do this to not die? Because that's like the thing that you would say in court. So like part of it's like your ability, opportunity, jeopardy, but like the
Did Eli Dickens have to do what he did to not die?
yeah, like that's the difference between a gun and a
He didn't.
car.
No, he didn't. He didn't need to do that to not die. yet he did it, and we were okay with it because it was danger to others. If this
That's
dude,
Lewis. That's a different thing. Has this woman killed somebody before in this situation? Has she
not that I
taken
know,
action to harm anybody or implied that she's willing to?
Potentially a toddler, but
uh,
otherwise.
according to him, again, I'm not arguing this. I'm trying to argue what he could potentially be thinking, right? And whether or not, like someone in the chat said, like he was tainted with PTSD and shouldn't have been on shift because of being dragged by another car. Whatever the case is there, I'm just trying to say that like this is one where there's no winners, right? There I don't think there really is a right and wrong. I don't have a judgment on it one way. I don't want one to be right more than the other. I can fully understand though how he could have thought in a way that was non-malicious and still acted this way. That's all.
I will give benefit of a doubt on the first shot. I will give benefit of a doubt. Second, third shot. Uh, Again, it's an assumption on my part.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was not an ICE officer or law enforcement officer, if this was Lewis or Josh or me doing second and third shot,
Oh yeah,
we
we're
would
fucked.
we would be convicted of at least second degree murder.
Yeah, the
Right.
the
And
argument
I'm
for the
leaving
cop.
legal out of it though, Sonny. Like I'm saying, like if this were Lewis or Josh or Sonny, like if that were me and Josh standing there, could I see myself potentially doing the same thing? And I have to be honest and say possibly, right? I can't say no, I wouldn't.
I see the comment there that second and third shot may not have been even processed. I don't disagree with possibility of those shots not being processed. Is that a excuse?
Right.
Yeah, no, it's sympathetic and it could be sympathetic fire and like
Again, let me ask you a
how
question. It could be a sympathetic fire. I don't disagree with that, and I can see that being the case. Would me, you, or Josh would get the same treatment versus the ICE officer for those
oh hell no. Oh, of course
sympathetic
not.
second
Oh,
and
we'd
third
be
shot?
fucked. Yeah.
Of course not.
Right.
Of course not.
Is that a
But
problem?
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's a problem legally, but like that aside, like for the only judge I care about, you know, is what I'm talking about here. Like the whole legal hypocrisy of what police are allowed to do. Like if that dude has an SBR in his car, he's allowed like it's not a problem. They'll
Yeah.
come shoot my dog and my fucking wife in the face. But yeah, so like in
Right.
terms
Well,
of
even
tyranny,
from the
no argument from
perspective
me.
of the shooting, like if you're worried about the moral judgment rather than the legal judgment, I could argue since the first shot through the windshield, maybe he did feel he was at risk. But if she's driving past, clearly not very fast because she was just at a dead stop and her tires weren't gripping, basically reaching to the window and then shooting her through the ear. Like if number 3 was the one that killed her, or maybe even number 2, then it's like, did you absolutely have to kill this person? The part where the cops get the little extra leeway is they can say, "Oh well, I was a fleeing felon. I'm legally
Right.
allowed to do this." But it's like, okay,
Which
so
legally we can too.
right. Well, you can, but should you? And
No.
it's like, okay, so if
Well,
and that's the thing,
maybe.
the imminent, so it's like innocence, imminence, and reasonableness, and these other things that lawyers talk about. So the imminence, if she drove past them and then whipped it in reverse, that's imminence. Be like, oh shit, she's coming back, mag dump. But if he had fired 12 times instead of 3 times, and he's just lighting her up all the way through to the 6 o'clock in the back of the head, like,
Yeah.
does that
I
make it any
think
different?
Cody's got a good point here. You know, we do have the benefit of spending what's it been, an hour and some odd
Yeah,
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 to really dissect what was under
absolutely,
2 seconds.
absolutely.
right.
But that's part of the discussion on the internet, right? Is that we do have that luxury now in the comfort and warmth of our own houses. And but what's interesting to me, Lewis, is this: that we're looking at it, and that argument is being used that we are dissecting the actions of the officer. Are we dissecting the same way her actions?
Right.
Mhm.
Is anyone assuming that she was scared, freaked out? This is the first event of such thing where someone is trying to arrest her. Her wife is screaming, "Drive, baby, drive." People say that that means that she wanted her to kill the officer, or was she saying, "Get the fuck out of here"?
Right.
Right? There's so many
Yeah.
assumptions.
Well,
And
also,
it's weird because she's pulling on the door handle like she's trying to get in, but she's saying to drive. So what the fuck is she
well,
trying to be
Again,
great?
we again,
Yeah.
just like officer, he's in the high pressure situation that he hasn't, or maybe he has faced before. Nothing, nothing is the same twice. Nothing is the same twice.
Right.
But these two chicks, I can pretty sure say that this was the highest pressure they have faced.
right. Yeah,
Right.
they've clearly never
Right?
shot
So
USPSA.
so if we look, when people go like, well, he did not have time to process that information to make a right decision based on his training. What about the driver?
Yeah, with no training
With
and
no training. Yeah,
shitting
she's been
herself.
to lectures of bunch of fucking green and purple haired lesbians and transgender, and they don't know which bathroom they're gonna use today. Operators telling her that, hey, just make their fucking life hard,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Training? What training?
Well,
She,
and
she she heard lectures from a fucking crazies that go like, hey, let's save our Somali brothers that are fucking, stealing hundreds of millions of dollars of our taxpayer
there's
money.
tons of these comments, and they're saying that, like, this is basically like Anne Frank, if you even think that's real and not fiction or whatever. But like, oh well, like if you truly believed that these were the Gestapo, is she defending herself from a perceived deadly threat? And then she's like, either I have to get out of here or whatever. Like, if she was driving for her life in her mind,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
like
but
just
I
like in
mean,
his mind, because
those,
he has PTSD from being dragged before. In his mind, he's about to go through the same shit, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
whose mind is here to
I'm
blame?
guessing
Yeah.
one. I'm guessing she probably has friends who have been somehow worked through the court system because of their protesting. This is another assumption, but I'm sure she doesn't know anybody who was like protesting, free Palestine or George Floyd or this or that was arrested and like held without bail or hearing. Like she wasn't friends with J6ers, right? Like her friend group gets different treatment in the justice system. I think she gets a little bit less um, benefit of the doubt because she did decide to put herself there. That officer didn't. And
Yeah.
so in the dissection thing, she loses a little bit of that benefit of the doubt because she's the one that kind of entered the amusement park and bought a ticket for a ride.
Okay,
Right?
let me play another devil's advocate for you,
Yep.
Louis. By the way, I don't disagree with that. She entered into it, and when people say she should have stayed home with her kid and all that stuff, I go like, back during the COVID-19, one and only time when I went out with a rifle there in Dallas during when they were trying to close down that barber shop of
Mm-hmm.
now Texas Representative Shelley Luther. Uh, you know, Richardson, SWAT were there and all that stuff. Yeah, I came out to play. I put myself in that situation. I knew
Yep.
what could potentially happen and all that stuff. That's me, Louis. You know a little bit about my background, not all, but you also know my capabilities.
Yeah, but
That
also
lady, is she comparable in any way, shape, or form to me,
no,
Josh, you, or that officer?
no. And another thing, I'll argue your point with you. Like I just highlighted Bob's comment, like stupid places, stupid people, stupid things. Like the same people, and Bob, this isn't against you, but the same people on the internet who will say that about her were total advocates for Kyle going across state lines to defend the car dealership.
Or January 6th?
When those people, well, that had a lot more Fed involvement, but a whole different story. But the at least Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Like he
Yep.
didn't need to be there, but we a lot of the people who are arguing that this chick should have never been there were arguing that Kyle had every right to be there. Now, Kyle didn't have his car blocking traffic or, trying to run over protesters, right? But that same argument, I think isn't fair. Just the
No,
fact
it's
that she
it's
shouldn't
it's
have
the
been
argument that comes back from ideological allegiance.
right.
It's ideologically allegiance-based argument. It's not an
Like
argument. It's a
do
statement
it.
of where you stand. It's not an
Obstruct
argument.
ICE. You know what I mean? Obstruct ICE. If there were, the Second Amendment walk through DC and we're going to throw rifles on, like, you might find me there, you might not. More than likely not, because I know what that cost could potentially be.
Yeah, but let me throw out the hard one out there. This is mostly 99% of all the commentary on the internet about this, whether we talk technicality, legality, was this self-defense, was not. Commentary is made by dudes. Are we the same as women?
Right.
Some of
We
them,
all agree when we talk about argument with a woman, right? A woman bounces from logic to emotion 5 times within 1 second. Us dudes, we stay in the logic room for a minute, then she pisses you off to such degree that we go into a fucking raging emotion room for another 3 minutes and yell the fuck out of our lungs because she's unpredictably bouncing back and forth.
also why I would be more scared of a woman behind a wheel than a dude pointing a gun at me.
It's a funny argument, but it's not an argument.
I mean,
You know,
to say that she was acting fully rationally behind the wheel, though, like we can agree that there's a potentiality that that's not the case.
again, is being irrational punishable by death?
If that irrationality is I care more about getting out of here than I do about who's under my wheel well while I do, then potentially.
Then
I guess.
potentially, then just as much muster can be thrown at the agent. If you care more about shooting the woman who's driving the car, which will not stop the car, than getting out of the way of the car, that argument has as much muster.
I
And
agree.
some people, especially people on the left, and I'm certainly not on the left. Most of you guys know me. I'm certainly not a fucking lefty. And it's very hard for me to not. Let me do a little disclosure. Both me and Megan are in full support of what ICE is doing as far as removal of people that they're removing. 100%. Now, how they're doing it, it's a separate issue. And this one throws a big wrench. This one throws a big wrench because we go like, yeah, it could have been one-off oopsie. It's just that oopsie cost someone's life, and now it's becoming international news, and it gives fodder to everybody. And by the way, guys, I'll talk about it tomorrow, but a bunch of us dudes commenting about this bitch deserved it, this and that. I want you to realize this. There are women listening to this. If you think that you coming through as an alpha male protector of women, I want you to fucking go to your bedroom today and think about it twice. Because females are much more sensitive to things like that. That's the way they are created. Yes, there are chicks on the ride that will join our fucking little party. Bitch deserved it. She got shot in the face. Ha ha. Fuck around, find out, and all that stuff. That's belongers. For most women, this is very disturbing. And when us dudes are talking tough smack, bitch deserved it and all that, if you think that women are looking at you and going like, that's the alpha male I want to be with, I'm sorry, guys. It may offend some of you, and you may dislike, unfollow, and not come to my training. You sound like cocks. Harsh enough? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab my coffee because I need to stay awake for this.
All right. But yeah, it's a really tough one. It's like I think Evan's comment earlier. Um, you know, there's potential that like she just didn't know like how many times. Fuck, my sister has fucking dings on all four of her Jeep. Like she wasn't trying to hit any of that shit. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
there's another potential. She may have she thought she had enough, but she was a foot and a half short, and that foot and a
And
half.
we don't know. And that's the point that, the left will argue exactly that. Oh, she was absolutely sure that she's not going to hit that guy. The right will argue she was trying to kill the fucking guy.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
are
like
both assumptions. These are both assumptions. The point is, what I'm trying to project here is this. Okay. So if you guys can level with me. So these two bitches harassing the fuck out of us. So let's say all three of us are ICE agents. God help those fucking criminals if we are ICE agents, because that ain't gonna be a pretty day for them, right? So let's say these two lesbians, raging lesbians, been harassing us. Come at me, big boy, all day long. We are fucking pissed. We've seen them all day long. And at some point, now that they've been blocking traffic and all that shit, we look at each other, me and Josh will go like, that's it. That's interfering with federal law enforcement operation in progress. Bitches getting yanked out, bitches getting the handcuffs on. We're doing this shit, right?
mm-hmm.
Josh, if you're driving that truck, whether it was F-150 Ram or whatever it was, where would you put that truck?
I'm blocking them in.
I'm blocking her in.
Yeah. So that's
I'm
the thing.
blocking her in. I'm pulling in front of that little fucking Honda Pilot, whatever it was. And if she hits that, guess what? She's doing hard time for a
Well,
long time.
Yeah, it's not my
it
fucking truck.
it looked like, and again, this is outside the context of the video that most people have seen, and I still need to see more of that beginning end context. But it looked like they did have a row of cars going, and like as one of the cars went to go around her, she pulled forward like towards it as if it was going to
She
hit.
did, and then she put it in reverse and waved that car through. There
But
is a video of her waving that car through, and that truck was
are you
following
going
that
to
car.
pull through? Are you going to pull through when it looked like she was just about to try and ram that other car? Are you now going to put me in the passenger seat in that get hit spot by blocking it in? I guess I'd be cool with it. Like yeah, we're pickup truck.
Okay, so she hits that. She hits that F-150 or Dodge Ram or whatnot at that speed. Does she flip that truck?
No.
At
No,
that speed? At that speed, does she even injure the passenger
no.
behind the
Like
closed door? No,
at max airbags go off, but
at the max. But that's
right.
but you know what kind of max she's getting for doing that?
Of course. But again,
She's
this
going
is
she's going heavy into jail.
right. But
Because
again,
that's
this
at this
is
point, this is federal. This is no longer state. This is no longer Minneapolis PD because she hit the vehicle with federal agents in it in process of active federal law enforcement operation. Okay,
it's somewhat of a hindsight call
it is.
because in the moment, if we saw that go down with the car in front of us, attempted ramming of our other partners like, are we not reasonable to get out and think that she will comply with the lawful orders? Like, do we need to do?
With the closeness, when you say attempted ramming, no, she was driving forward as she realized that vehicle was going through. She did slam on the brakes and waved it through. There
Okay,
was no attempted
Yeah,
ramming.
I don't think
There was no attempted ramming.
that first one. I don't think was ICE. That might have been somebody else because there's like lines of cars.
Yes.
it looked like an Explorer with no roof racks. I think, but I've only seen
It
it
could
a
have
few.
been. It
But
could have been. As
but
some
again,
people made a joke, how many details were missed. Most people never noticed a fucking T-Rex in the yard, right? So
yeah.
that tells you about the fucking, the visual tunnels and all that stuff, right? Competition shooters, right? Right. That's all you need to see, not all hair.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time to criticize them too hard on not like yes, pin the car in, like, full felony stop, we all get out, bitch, get out of the car, bitch, get out of the car, you know what I mean? Like, if we're going full on felony stop, I think they were attempting to go a little softer than that, you know what I mean?
I
And
don't
that,
know. Based on the language and the intent and
nobody had
intensity
a
of
gun,
the first officer walking up, get the fuck out of the car,
but
I'd
not a
say that
single
was a
gun.
full felony.
There was not a single gun out. Full felony stop. You're going to have all lethal coverage. What, maybe one less lethal, right? Like, if we're talking about, like, they're going to pull in behind this criminal in the bank
Okay,
and
so wait a second.
put
I have a
bumper on
question for you.
bumper so they can't move the car, like, that's going to be
Is
a
there
full
something in
felony stop.
between what they did and the full felony? Could have they
Probably.
just pulled the truck in and without their guns drawn, stepped out of the vehicle and go like, ma'am, you're not going anywhere. And if you do, this is going to be assault on federal law enforcement in active operation of federal law enforcement ongoing,
Yeah.
right?
Of course.
Again, this is
Always.
Monday night quarterbacking I'm
Mhm.
getting, but this is as much Monday night quarterbacking as judging her actions.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. And as I said, my problem is that both sides are coming from ideological standpoint. I'm going to throw one really heavy at you guys, although this is not technical. What if they didn't shoot her? What do you think would have happened? And I'm not talking about sequencing of events, but I'm talking about in society. You know what's fucked up? And this is a heavy, heavy stone that you lefties, if there's any lefties watching, you know what you would say? Because she was white. If she was black, they would have shot her. So we would tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. No. Well,
That would have been exact fucking argument
and
from the hardcore lefties and going like, oh, because she was a white bitch, they spared her life. If this was Shaniqua, a black woman lesbian, they would have
yeah.
smoked her ass.
Well,
So
that,
you can say
and they
that there
would
is
have
no
been
winning in this.
there would have been super, super emboldened into what they could do in terms of resisting arrest, obstructing it going forward. You know what I mean? Like, they would have been super emboldened by that.
I
But
don't know about
I pulled
emboldening.
this up, like, on the screen, because, yeah, I think here, instead of drawing his gun, if he puts that left foot, like, on this bumper, he hops to a spot way over here, like, he's well out of range, and all of that was possible, if
Again,
the
obviously he didn't
drawing of
have
the
training
gun,
for that. He
right.
doesn't know how to fall back, how to roll out of the way. I can't blame that officer. He didn't have that training. He's a hard door kicker. Go get the bad guys. And listen, I looked at the list of whom ICE has arrested in Minneapolis in the past few weeks. It's a pretty fucking scary list. You have a fucking Laotians, you have Mexicans, you have Salvadorans that sodomized children. And I'm not talking 16-year-olds. I'm talking children. There's some bad fucking hombres there. I fully support ICE going after those fucks. 100%.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, the way that this is happening is you're getting people that are told to disobey lawful orders and insert themselves into this. And then also you're getting a show of force from the government. And that's like, if you like put a couple animals in the room and just let them fight it out. Like that's what other people want, is because now it's not just a left or right thing; it's an authoritarian libertarian thing. Because then it's like, okay, well, are you defending the feds or are you defending the person who's fighting the government? And it's like, oh, well, I don't agree with either of them, but now there's
Yeah.
so much gray area there. But that's what it is you're just putting you're putting, a scorpion and a spider in the thing. You're like, I don't know what's going to happen, but
It's
And according to that
a
last
further
comment that you had on
division.
the screen, can you put that
Yeah.
comment on the screen back?
Yeah, I put that up there because it's comments like that that force me to defend the side of this agent, because like you're saying context is missing, but then in capital letters say no threat.
And that's what I was going to say. That's and I don't know who this person is, and whether he's right leaning, left leaning, or whatnot. It doesn't matter. The
Right.
point is, this is our comment when we have luxury in slow motion to look at it, and I can look and I go like, "Yep, that officer was not a threat." Now, looking from 4 different angles, I can say that. I have a luxury. He did not have that luxury.
Right.
So now to make an assessment that our officer just wanted to kill her is not fair.
And I don't even think, even with all this time watching it, that I can make the call to say she was no threat. Maybe somewhere around shot 2 or 3, but like to say she
How
was no threat, like she was never a threat, he had no business even touching his gun, like that's a problem. Because again, I agree, he could have, hopped up here or put a foot on the bumper, you know, and pushed himself back, or had good movement and, gotten out of the way of it. He could have taken a wider angle while in front of it. While she was in reverse, he could have not closed distance on the front bumper, but continued to take an angle. So, like, yeah, there's tons of stuff that he could have done for her to have been less of a perceived threat. But that comment, and comments like that, make the assumption of her intent, right? I believe he knew that. So you're assuming both parties' intent and ignoring the fact of what heavy machinery can do to a body when given
Okay,
uh,
Lewis.
minimal context.
So there's two variables here. There's a variable of intent, and then there's a variable of interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
They are both alive. Well, one was still alive in the agent, the other one was already dead in the driver, right? But they both had intent, and we're only going to know intent of one person, and it's not necessarily we're going to know the truth. We're going to know what he's going to say in court.
Right.
We're not never going to know her intent. It is left for us to guess.
And
Interpretation
if she was alive,
is
we wouldn't be able to know, because just like his, right? We wouldn't know if was her true intent or what she was saying, right? Like, let's say it just hit her in the shoulder. She went to the hospital, and there's the $3 million lawsuit going on right now. Is she going to say, if her intent was, I didn't care if he lived or died, I would just knew I was getting out of there? Is she going to say that? Or is she
probably
going
not.
to say,
no,
I
probably
didn't
not.
realize that my bumper was going to hit him? Like,
No, that's always going to be left for interpretation. If she was alive, that would be interpretation for the judge
right.
and jurors to decide. Now that she's not alive and she cannot say anything, it's left for us viewers to interpret her intent and or interpretation of his intent,
Yeah.
and vice versa. What was
But
his interpretation of her intent in the moment?
I know for a fact, like, hydraulics, machinery gives no fucks. Like, you want to talk about freedom of movement that continues moving. Like, I had a car accident that was car on person, right? So it wasn't my fault. The way traffic was lined up. Long story short, a lady put her bicycle front tire between the front bumper and the front tire of the truck I was driving while the wheels were turned that way. I quarter rolled the wheels kind of at the moment of impact, right? Like
Yeah.
a quarter turn of the wheels, and that snapped her body down so hard, so fast, the bicycle broke through, like compound fracture, like no, like that truck did not give a fuck about that bicycle.
I
You
understand.
know,
I,
you know what I
I don't
mean?
think anyone will argue that a fucking ton-and-a-half vehicle versus human body, the outcome is pretty fucking clear who wins.
Yeah.
Again, this is just as much time to decide, if you decided if this vehicle is at enough speed to have kinetic energy to do the damage. Are you at the correct angle to avoid serious damage, or is it possible to do this? Again, let's reverse that and put that
And my
into some
truck had
lesbian.
no speed, no speed and no acceleration. I would let off the brake. You know what I mean? And that's
Okay,
enough
Right, but
where,
would it be
like,
justified for that lady to pull out a gun and shoot you? Because you like there was great bodily harm.
probably
Like
not. Not in
no,
that
but
probably not, because
jurisdiction.
right.
again,
But
guys, I think
you
I
know,
think we getting a little bit outside of technicalities and all that, and I think that I
I
don't know,
agree
man.
with Dylan. I would have been much happier to see her pulled out of that car, put in handcuffs, like then the wife get arrested. Like from a, I guess, right leaning perspective, that would have made me happier than seeing this.
Okay, I'm putting everyone on the line here. Josh, good shoot or bad shoot?
I don't think it was a good shoot.
Lewis, good shoot, bad shoot?
I like that's the thing. I can't. One, I want to see 5 minutes preceding.
How
Two,
how 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 is that going to change anything? Because
because
obviously they were not trying to arrest her before. She was not a threat. They just got enough with what
it,
she was doing, and at that point blocking traffic. They said, we're
yeah,
taking this out of equation.
it could give me some thought on my interpretation. So my interpretation of intent is based solely on what I have seen so far.
Mhm.
And that is a lacking piece. So if there's something in there prior to that that shows some kind of malicious intent of her, then I would be more likely
So would
to.
you say that 15 minutes earlier, if she was sitting in the car and she looks at one of the agents and goes like, I wish you were dead, motherfucker,
You
would
know,
that would
something
that
like
would that
that
change things?
something
the
like that
signs that
would
say kill
change, yeah,
X.
a little bit. How
Yeah,
I disagree.
yeah.
I disagree. Because you know what? How many times in the traffic, when someone cuts you off or drives completely stupid, you go like, I wish your father pulled out. Basically saying that this motherfucker should not even be alive. Like,
Right, but then
this is
five
not
five
intent.
minutes later, if I
This is
try and run him
emotional.
over, if
Right.
I try
This
and
is
run him
emotional.
over 5 minutes later at the Love's gas station, I guarantee you they use that dash cam of me saying that shit to him in traffic in
Yeah,
court.
if there's a dash cam of her saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna hit this motherfucker," or they go to her apartment, like they probably arrested that chick, the wife or whatever, because she, I assume, was protesting too. So one's dead, one's arrested. If they went to her apartment and it's sprawled with, kill ICE scratched into the walls, and they get, the George Soros emails or whatever that say, "Hey, I want you to go fuck these guys up," then it's like that's
Well,
not going to put them in a good light.
No, that's not going to
right.
put him in a good light. But at the same time, you can say that when officer, after firing 3 shots, he goes like, motherfucking bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that
mad.
doesn't help either.
He's mad.
Yeah,
So them saying, I wish you dead,
that's
could it
like
be interpreted
a
that
look
they
what you made me do. And her saying, I wish you were all dead, or I wish you were deported, is different. If she had stop ICE posters versus kill ICE, like these are little things. Like I can't make the judgment call on good shoot or bad shoot. I could say it was a legal shoot.
You cut
Did
out for a
we?
second.
Yep. So I could say I feel like in the eyes of the court, or in the eyes of the law as I understand it, it was a justified shoot, in the same way, for those that saw our previous episode, the big fat cop that got his ass totally kicked. All he had to do was like shove this girl earlier in the altercation. But at the moment of, she has his microphone cord wrapped around his neck, is pulling it tighter and tighter, and is smacking him in the head with an ass baton. Like, at that moment, it became a legal shoot. If I were in that position, I wouldn't feel good with it, as on the third battle side of things, right? Like gunfight, legal fight, and then your internal and
Right,
final
but that
final judgment fight. So on this one, I can say, by what I've seen, I would have to say, like, if I were on a jury and tried to take all emotion out of it, like intent, ability, opportunity, I need a little bit more on the intent piece. But on displayed intent, if the only thing I can go on is the displayed intent of her front bumper contacting the officer, then I have to say it's a justified shoot in terms of that. Now, on the non-legal thing, I think bad shoot.
right.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's the
I need to answer too, right? Because I
Yeah,
asked you
yeah,
two a
yeah.
question, and now I have to answer too, because it should be, like equal rights and all that shit, America, right?
right.
Yeah.
So I think it was a bad shoot as a result of incorrect actions taken that made that shoot necessary.
Yeah. Well, that's the so
Right.
Cody Utterback, justifiable, not necessary. But
Justifiable, like Lewis was saying,
like
justifiable in the eyes of law, the way the
I
law is right now.
I could
Mhm.
He's walking from the law, from the perspective of law. He's walking is justified. SOPs, training, everything else falls into
yeah.
his place.
And I
If we
bet
remove more, go ahead.
the bad shoot aspect of it, what I see as bad shoot, is more probably the fault of the training, and the system of training, than it is of that individual officer. Like, compared to that,
I
when you were talking about the hotel room,
yeah,
or the hotel hallway thing, like
yeah.
where you just got like it's probably on that dude.
That was strictly on that dude.
Yeah,
That
I
was straight
think
up execution.
this. I think, like when he has to have that hard conversation, like, and he's going to be judged. It'll be based on, I think it may he may get some benefit of the doubt in that. And that's why, like James said, the book of James, like, be careful being a teacher, right?
Yep.
Because maybe this shoot gets weighed on his training officers, tab, not so much
It
on the.
won't. It won't. Because you know as well as I do in training community how it is and what conversations happen during the training of SWAT or whatnot. Just
No,
shoot
I'm
the
not
motherfucker
saying
in the face.
legally.
We'll figure it out later.
No, I'm not
That's why I
saying
stopped
legally.
doing law enforcement training.
I'm saying I'm for saying the one who knows all things, like in the eyes of the Lord, like maybe this doesn't go on this guy's tab. You know what I mean? This isn't part of his judgment.
Uh, you know, I
Because
I'm
I
really
think
not
he
I'm really
could.
not I'm not angry at the officer in the sense that he could have done better. But when you go like we make choices based on our training, don't we make choices on training we get?
Hmm. But
Yeah.
who
These are also
influences those
choices.
decisions?
These are
Who
also choices.
influences those? You know?
People go like, I don't have a choice of what disease I get. You had a choice what you eat and how you live and what's your lifestyle. If you think that had nothing to do with the disease that you got, you may want to reevaluate the fucking science.
Right. But I don't choose to eat microplastic.
Yeah,
So maybe that goes on Bill Gates's tab.
right.
You know, that's what I'm hoping anyway. Like,
this
it,
is, this is really, and I don't mean to sound like a geek or whatnot. To me, this is interesting case study because it brings out so many things because of what's involved.
Well, that's what I was telling Lewis was like even if like somebody had like totally separate out of this had ill intentions and they wanted to set something up that would be inflammatory, I don't think you could pay an actor to come up with something this inflammatory because
Yeah,
then now you've got, you know, two different sides of the left because some of it's fuck the police and some of it's, you know, not. And then same with the right is
yeah.
like, and then all the people in between because then like you're caught in multiple gray areas and
Yeah,
then
and then you have
like
people justifying the first shot, but not second, third shot, and then you have
yeah,
people
right.
justifying first and half of a second shot, but not second half of the second shot and
Yeah.
the third shot.
right.
You know what
They
I mean? And on and on and
couldn't
on,
have
right?
dreamed couldn't have dreamed of a more divisive
Yeah,
outcome.
indeed, indeed. And that's why I wanted to bring this. I didn't come in here as an ICE hater and execute the officer, but I wanted to be a contrarian because I think my main idea was that for those people that are listening and watching this, is to try to knock a little bit on this box here and go like use that you know metacognitive ability to be self-aware of your thoughts and understand where they're coming from. Are they coming because of your ideological allegiances? Are they coming because of you already made predisposition because you hate the lefties, you hate the lesbians, you hate this, you hate that, you are fully convinced that no Somali is good and they deserve what they get and this woman is protecting them or doing this or that. So she's pretty much just like that owner of that Somali fake fucking daycare and fuck her and the micro horse that she rode it on and her wife and her kids. Or on the other side, what I mean? You're going like, she's just an innocent person exercising her First Amendment rights. She's just a woman. How dare you? You know what I mean? She wasn't threat at all. She wasn't doing anything wrong to piss off these officers. He just wanted to execute her. People go into these extremes and I go like, you are ideologically possessed, but you're trying to sound virtuous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This we need to grow up, especially in this community. We're carrying fucking guns. We pretend to be fucking sheepdogs that will protect other people. We need to be self-aware of what are our motivations on how we make decisions, especially if it comes to making a decision to take someone's fucking life. It's not an easy fucking walk.
Right. Well, I think that's a big part of where some of this comes from is like if I personally knew the cop who did this, because I know a couple of dudes who are cops, and then I can like for the most part, like if I'm friends with them, I have some insight into their heart and mind and training. So like I could say like, hey, like this person definitely wouldn't have shot if they didn't think this was 100% real.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no malice involved and et cetera, et cetera. Same with the person who's driving. Like if you truly knew that person, you'd be like, oh well, that bitch was crazy. She told me today that she was going to hit this cop and whatever. Like sometimes you just know people, but even then, like there's so much gray area in this.
Man, yeah, no telling. And it's one of those things. I know, Sonny, you've said it a bunch of times in classes. Us Westerners, we kind of like things to fit in the box. Well, which one does
It's
this
black.
fall
It's
in?
black. It's black or
Yeah,
white. You don't have that two things can be right at the same time.
yeah, yeah.
Officer fucked up, and she fucked up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what came out is a big fucked up shit sandwich.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's so Bob's comment says, I think if I was a frontline door kicker that I would have the best training I could find. So not having that knowledge isn't a get out of jail free card. That's another
Yeah.
thing too. So that's a thing that I talk about. So it's like it's in the Fox Labs OC instructor training. So Canton, Ohio versus Harris. Like if you're
Oh, did you guys freeze up? We lose you? Hello? Hello? Are those guys out? Hey, throw in the chat. Can you guys still hear Josh and Sonny? Anybody?
That,
oh
that
yes, it worked.
we think that Microsoft is better than Apple operating system.
Yeah,
Bill,
I think it
don't
was
cut
Bill
us off
Gates
again.
kind of soft.
Damn.
Okay. But yeah, so Canton, Ohio versus Harris, that's something that's, taught in OC training because like people have died because of this. But if your department or your agency, and then even you as a civilian, like this is a law enforcement standard, but the same principle can be applied as if you just chose not to do these things, there is some liability there if you just chose not to get certain training or whatever. And that's the same with the cop
Well,
that, getting hit on the head with his baton and whatever. Like, yeah,
yeah.
like you,
But, and
shot her
again,
because you
We
were
were going to
afraid.
keep this to 1 hour. Look at this.
I
We had
know.
2 hours.
Yeah.
And
We are
and
incapable to make short videos.
Yeah.
and
We
as
don't have
that
skills.
as that door kicker dude, I mean, maybe he did think he was getting the best training he could find. I mean,
Hey,
he
dude,
probably.
how many videos we've seen of door kickers that they think they're getting the best training?
Oh
All
yeah,
of them.
all the time. I watched
Right.
one today where they said you don't switch shoulders because it's hard.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like,
Like, at
there's
what level do I say, hey, do you have what technique? If I went to their class and I said, well, what technique would work? If I can only curl 12 pounds, they'd be like, get stronger, bitch. You know, but
Right.
but they don't want
right.
to switch shoulders because it's hard and you have to
Yeah.
practice it.
Well, I've never
Toughen up, Buttercup.
I don't do door kicker classes really. Like, I guess I've probably done one or two, but like for the most part, but like, yeah, like if I'm going to a class, it's probably because like I'm under the impression that it's the best. I don't say like, hey, who's like the mid-tier guy for this? Let me go do that class. Like if I said, hey, I want to go to a class on fucking night vision or stabbing some fool in self-defense or legal lectures or fucking
Yeah, you select people who you consider to be
I
at the
would
top
say
of the game in that area.
who's the best at this and then who kind of fits my thing. Like obviously there's tons of cop dudes that do room clearing and stuff, but if I said, hey, I don't have a team and I've just got the AK by the bed or the shotgun in the closet or something, like that's the dude that like I would want to go take the class from, because it's like if they're the best at what they do and they're in the same context of what I'm doing.
Mhm. But what happens when people that you
Reverse preaching.
trust tell you someone's the best at something because that's what they believe, but it's not
Right.
actually
It's
the case?
indoctrination. But you should take other training to know that. And that's the
Hmm.
part of the problem is, and we do it too. But it's the institutional inbreeding. and we do it too. Like I would say, like, hey, we're a little bit more open-minded than other people, yada yada. But if I said, hey, the only person you should train with is Sonny, that does you a disservice. Like,
Okay, can I?
how do you know that Sonny, like
See,
that's the James's thing. How do you know I'm right until you go find out, like, oh,
yeah.
like I went to a class with blah 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 Navy SEAL and that shit's fucking wrong.
Can I make a
Well,
comment on this comment right here?
Yeah.
yeah,
ICE
because clearly
agents
they go
have
get the best
participated
training.
in U.S. Israel law enforcement exchange programs.
The best training.
All right.
Is that should be like a positive thing?
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
see.
gonna.
He followed it up.
Yeah. So like, and then like anything that involves the government is a shit sandwich. Like on the face of it, like bar none, whether we're talking cop training,
Yeah,
military training, anything. And then
especially
they're
certain governments.
undoubtedly going with the cheapest thing possible. Not that it's necessarily bad. I know a couple of dudes who do a lot of cop
Were you,
only training,
are you
and it's
calling the
some good
Israelis
shit.
cheap, Josh?
No,
Is that what you're
the
saying?
government's cheap.
I'm not gonna make any comments.
I'm not saying the Israelis run the government, but the government is cheap.
And Israel offers enough money for them to. Never mind. Anyway,
Right.
all
So
right, guys, we
Here's
should
where the
probably
stream
wrap
gets
up before
cut.
before this is devolves into a freaking anti-Semitic rant or something. So this is
Yeah,
not going to be good.
yeah, I'm
don't
gonna go
worry.
pay my
YouTube will pull the
taxes.
plug.
Love Israel.
Listen,
Yeah.
I actually appreciate this discussion. I actually like that we did not have any long previous thing to get on the same page and all that. Uh, it was cool, man. It was cool to kind of see where people stand or whatnot, and I'm sure we'll continue in our private conversations on that.
Yeah.
But I hope the people that watched us, I don't think that we tried in any way, shape, or form to bend them one way or another.
That's the thing is like the element that most people have that turns it wrong is the straw man argument. To
Yeah.
some people, ICE is Gestapo, and then to some people that this lesbian's the child abuser, anti-government, whatever. And some elements of these might be true. Yeah, like ICE is going to places and arresting people and yada yada. But if it becomes this distorted thing, and then like it's all emotional, because that's the thing is like I have no emotional investment in this. Like I'm not the one that's dead. Like I'm not going to these protests. So like my safety for the most part is not involved. So like I'm not emotionally involved in this, but the people that do have that will create something. And then now you're not even arguing the point. We're not talking about the facts. We're talking about, my boogeyman versus yours, or my
Mhm.
shining knight versus
And that's
yours.
that's tomorrow when I'm gonna do my live stream. That's what it's gonna be about, and I'm gonna go deep, and I'm gonna offend a lot of feelings, a lot of people, and the reason why I'm gonna do that because I think that people on our side, more the right side of political spectrum, more conservative. Um,
Yeah, you can't make them feel good. That's
well, I'm not gonna try to make them feel good, but the reason why I'm gonna do that because they should know better.
right. Well, and that's the thing. It's
You know
like,
what I mean? I can give certain level of leeway and excuse to these extreme lefties, to these purple-haired fucking gender confused. I can give excuse because I think they do have issues. You know what I mean? But when I see our side that were, during the COVID, like fuck the government oversight, fuck this enforcement, fuck this, fuck
yeah.
that, no more new wars, no more this, no more that.
And it's the trainees
You
and
know what I mean?
lesbians who are actually doing something about it.
Our whole independence was, our Second Amendment is not about our rights, it's about limiting government rights and all that. And then all of a sudden you see these guys coming out like, you go, dude, are you that ideologically possessed that you actually will justify certain? And I'm not saying just about this, whether it's Venezuela, Iran, many other things happening and all that. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's more important to hold on to that fucking flag at, pole of the flag to wave it so that your friends like you and they go like, he's really hardcore on our side,
Right.
than to actually search for the truth.
Well, that's like a Musashi quote, isn't it? It's like the whole purpose of doing these things is to challenge your previous understanding.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to tune into something and be like, yep, I agreed with everything the whole time.
Why are you listening
Like,
to it then?
right. I'd just be like, oh, I'm right. Fuck it. Like,
By the way, I appreciate the comment the gentleman made who noticed about cross training with Israelis. He goes, "It's not in capitals a positive."
Yeah.
Good to hear, sir. We in agreement on that.
Well, I think I got to start getting ready for dinner here, guys. So we need to maybe wrap up.
Let's wrap it, man. Let's
I
wrap
just
it.
want to thank everybody for watching. We still got quite a few people in the watch here. If you can help us out with the algorithm and the whatnots, like as soon as this stream ends, it'll get posted as an actual video. If you could go in there and give that a like, drop a comment in there, like watch the whole thing, or especially you guys who did. Let them know interesting take on the subject, whatever you can throw in there. A couple letters kind of helps that stuff. We do want to try and grow this channel, and get more insight and more opinions into the chat and the comments, and kind of expose more people to our quest for the truth, especially when it pertains to violence and violent encounters. So appreciate you guys watching, and if you could do that stuff for us to help with the YouTube stuff, it may cancel out our candid nature in the algorithm. So
Candid nature. By the way, Louis, when we rewatched this, because I could not read all the comments, I'm pretty sure there were some good ones and bad ones.
mhm.
Can we see the comments when they were going live?
There's live chat replay. We do have live chat replay enabled. I think it's like a drop down, or you got to go into comments and then select live chat.
Okay.
And it should pop them all up, especially
Okay,
since
because when
it's
I
all
when
the
I have
one
time,
channel.
I wanna read some comments, because I want to know if there's something that was like worth like making a patch from or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, they're very well could be. Also, for those of you watching, if you've got ways to get in contact with me, and need me to take a look at something at SHOT Show for you guys, or if there's any night vision specific questions you may have, I am going to the Night Op Summit later this week. Some of the best dudes who do that type of stuff. So if that is your bag, or it's something that you want to be more prepared on, feel free to send me direct questions on that stuff. If there's a booth that like I need to go check out because they got a cool TSA approved brass knuckles at SHOT Show, like let me know about that. And I guess we'll see you guys next week.
All right, folks. Good having you here. We appreciate your participation. Share, like, subscribe, and I guess hopefully we'll see you next Monday.
sounds good.
Peace.